Hello, my name is Javal, and I'll be explaining my 2023 fall internship. First, I'll start with how I found this internship in the first place, and that was thanks to my teacher, who, after I explained I was looking for an internship and had only found one with a family friend, she looked online to see if she could find a better one which would better suit my interest. After looking, she found a group who was looking for someone who was experienced with After Effects. And while I haven't worked with After Effects that long, she thought the group would better fit what I was looking for. So after reaching out to them, they asked if I can look at some of the old work I have that pertains to After Effects and video editing. So I sent them some of that work. And after looking at it, the actor offered to see me at an interview. The interview itself was very interesting. During it, the supervisor who was interviewing me looked at all of my past work, not just the ones that included After Effects and video editing, but anything else I worked on. But they were disappointed that they couldn't see my senior project. They were interested in all the After Effects work I had done already, and even offered me some advice on how I can improve my website and my social media page, which I was very interested in. And of course, while doing the interview, I always made sure to keep on contact with them and dress properly so that I would not disrupt what they were doing and kind of ruin the internship with how I looked. Now we move on to what this internship is about. The company I was working for was basically a group that worked with a bigger education institute, which is a group that basically teaches students new skills and sends them out into the world. Our job at the company was to basically record what was happening at certain events going on at the institute, such as taking pictures, video recording things, recording the students, and anything else that we needed to do to help getting what was going on there and put it on the company's social media page. My job included three things. One was taking pictures at the event if I was needed. The second thing was creating graphic intros for a compilation of videos and photos that were being taken at certain events. And finally, my final job was to help with the lighting during photo shoots, basically holding it up and making sure the lighting was perfect so that when they took the photos, it would come out a lot better. The office culture there was actually very nice. The people there were kind, understanding, and always offered to help others. And while the space wasn't that big, there was still enough room to have separate offices for those who had worked there longer, and big cubicles with computers for employees and interns. The office doors were always open so people could talk to each other and inform each other about what was going on, or if they wanted to just have casual conversations. And it was also a very quiet and comfortable environment to work in so that everyone could get their work done and no one was really interrupting each other. It seemed to be a combo of both casual and professional. You could wear a suit and tie and wear shoes at the same time, but you had to have a look that would still have a professional atmosphere so that when someone who would come to the office, they would know that this is a professional environment and not just a place where people could wear anything they wanted to. Also, it seemed like the people were all on the same page, that everybody knew that we were working as a team, that to get the work done, we all had to do our part, and no person could just lounge around and do nothing. This is a sample of one of my works, which was a student leadership project. What this event was basically about was about leading students and teaching them how to be better leaders for the groups that they were working in. For this project, I basically used different words that associated with leadership, then had each of them kind of show up and transition into the next word before ending off with the title of the ending off with the title. As you saw, I kind of went from typing to kind of as you saw, I had different ways of making the words appear, trying not to make each one the same, but make each one different. Next, we have another piece of work I did, which was for hip hop's 50th anniversary. With this one, I tried to give it more of a grungy look, kind of making each word look like it was spray painted on. With this one and many of the others I worked on, especially the previous one, I had to work with another student who was adding the photos and videos that we took at events to my graphic intros. I especially liked how this one ended with the spray paint kind of going across and under the title of the video, which I really enjoyed. And this one is not even the original work, which had a whole different feel to it. But after talking to my supervisor and the person I was working with, they thought that this would be a better style to put it in. My intros were basically had certain rules that they had to follow. First off, they had to be as long as what the supervisor was asking me for, because if they were too long, they would overshadow the compilation of videos and pictures. The second thing is that they had to be transparent so that they could be placed over any sort placed over the compilations of videos and pictures. And they also had to make sure that they did not start too early or end too late, so that the title of the video will always be on there long enough to be placed on like the pictures or the videos, whichever one would be placed over. Now I'm going to explain my first photo shoot, which was very interesting. And while I did not take the pictures to myself, I did assist my supervisor in the photo shoot that they were doing. My job there was basically, as I explained before, to hold up the lamp and create lighting for the photos, which was a lot more difficult than you would think it would be, because I had to follow the movements of the models that were being chosen by my supervisor. If they moved forward, I had to move forward with them. If we were coming forward, I had to back up. Always had to make sure that the lighting was completely on them and that I wasn't missing any sort of sides. This would help create a better lighting for the photo so that it would look better when it was finally like taken out. But when we first found the models, we had to make them sign a non-disclosure agreement so that the models we were using weren't just having their pictures taken by some random people for no reason. We had to make sure we got their permission so that we would not get in trouble when we posted on the social media page. And I learned a lot just watching him take the pictures, how to control the models, how to create different scenarios and different images. And I had a very good time doing this. My first event was actually very interesting. It was basically a welcome back event for any students coming back to the Education Institute. It had a 90s theme to it, and while no one was dressed up in 90s clothing, they were all basically kind of welcoming back people. This allowed different students to meet different groups who were a part of the institute and different clubs that were created at the institute. This would also help this helped clubs to kind of integrate any new students into their group and kind of welcome any old students if they wanted to into their clubs as well. My job there was basically take images of the students, the people, and even the club vendors and group vendors that were there. I got to see a whole bunch of people see different foods and see how different people kind of entertain people at these different sorts of events. I had a great time even though I was working. The self-evaluation for myself basically goes like this. I have both positives and negatives. One positive is that I did work hard in every project I worked on. I made sure everything got on time, and that I did not lock myself into this one project for a very long time because I knew that kind of disrupt the work that was going on at the company. But one negative is that even though I try to finish it the best I can, I do believe I may have taken too long to finish each project, because that's what kind of my supervisor was saying, was that I need to work a little bit faster, especially with works that need to be placed on social media, because those kind of works need to be going like online like the next day. I will say that some of I will say one of the other things I kind of enjoyed that I gained new techniques while I was working there. Always improving my After Effects work. I always looked on YouTube to see what new skills I could learn and what I could add to the projects I was working on. And even during my final project, I brought all the skills I learned together to fully create this final project. But another negative I says is that I need to work on how I take images. A lot of the images I was taking were kind of slanted, did not really look very well. So I had to correct them in Photoshop, which, while it's good, I did not like relying on Photoshop so much. And I really wanted my photos to come out better just themselves. And I know that's difficult because of the environment that I was taking the pictures in, but still, that's just something I really wanted to happen. But all in all, I really enjoyed this internship, and I really love how it helped to improve my work and helped me learn more and more about what kind of skills I can add to my future. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.